Well, hello and welcome back to Little V Farm. I wanted to share with you guys my new favorite recipe. I feel like I go through phases where I'll make something a bunch and then get sick of it and then make something again and then, find a new random recipe that's like trending and finally try it. So I want to show you one that I have been making a lot recently that we love. It is our easy protein bagels. I like this recipe for a few reasons. One, there is no yeast or starter or anything for it. It is minimal ingredients, just a few ingredients, and they are packed with protein, which is nice because if you're like me, I struggle to get enough protein in the day, and so I love them for that reason. I also love them because they are small batch. So this recipe just makes like 4 medium-sized bagels, which is great for Andrew and I because we don't need to make like a dozen bagels. So yeah, I've been making this quite a bit and I make them a few different ways. I've made them with like everything seasoning on top. I did a honey rosemary once, that was pretty good. And then my favorite is probably a cinnamon raisin bagel. And because of that, I wanted to try something a little bit different today. So I am going to be making these protein bagels with some strawberries in them. I have some frozen strawberries from the fridge that I just thawed out a couple of days ago. And so I am going to chop those up and incorporate those in. We're going to see how it tastes. So we are going to get everything together and then let's get started. So I gathered my few ingredients that I need. I just have some flour. You can use whatever kind you want. This is just regular white flour, but you can use a gluten-free bread flour, doesn't matter. I have plain Greek yogurt. You can use a flavored Greek yogurt. I have done that in the past where I've used like a vanilla Greek yogurt in with the cinnamon raisin bagels when I make them, and that was kind of fun. But I like having the plain just in the fridge. It's a little bit more versatile. So I have my plain Greek yogurt. We have baking powder, not baking soda, baking powder, and then a little bit of salt. And then I have my little bag of strawberries here that I thawed out a few days ago. So I'm going to get a bowl really quick and then we are going to measure everything up and I'm going to show you how easy it is to make these. Okay, so I got a bowl. That is important. And we are going to start with our Greek yogurt. I'm going to go ahead here really quick and turn the oven to 375. If you've baked with me before, you know that our oven runs about like 15-ish degrees warm. So I set this for 375. It's probably gonna be closer to like a 385, 390. So just plan accordingly. It takes about 30 minutes for these to bake at that 375 for me. So while that is preheating, I am gonna go ahead and start getting our ingredients mixed together. I'm gonna start with 1 cup Greek yogurt. It does not need to be exact. Just about a cup of Greek yogurt here. I'm actually going to do just a little bit less. I'm going to do a little bit less. So I did just under a cup of Greek yogurt. Normally you would just do a cup of Greek yogurt and a cup of flour. But because I'm going to be adding in these strawberries and they have moisture in them, I did just a little bit less of the Greek yogurt. But I am going to go ahead and add the strawberries in now. I'm just going to give them a quick chop and then I'm going to add them in. I didn't really know how many to do, but I figure this mixture does 4 bagels. And so I did enough strawberries that I thought would incorporate nicely in 4 bagels. So that's what we're giving a shot. So I'm going to cut up these strawberries real quick. Okay, so I have my strawberries and my Greek yogurt in here. And then to this, I'm going to add 1 cup flour. And again, you can use whatever flour you want. This is just a standard white flour. Recently, I heard on the internet somebody said if you have ADHD, don't put it down, put it away. So a lot of times when I'm baking, I try to remember that and I don't put stuff down, I just go put it away. So I'm gonna go put the flour away. Okay, and then I'm going to add 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. This will give it its little bit of rise that it kind of gets from the bake. And then just a little bit of salt, and probably just do like 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then I'm just going to add a splash of vanilla because I don't feel like you can bake anything that's sweet without adding vanilla. It just feels like weird and wrong to me. Okay, so I have everything in here. I'm going to give that a good mix just until everything's incorporated, and then we are going to switch to our hands, but I'm going to mix with a spoon really quick. Okay, so roughly mixed up, this is kind of what it should look like. I'll show you guys there. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to switch to my hands, and we are going to make sure this gets really mixed together properly. And I just mix it right in the bowl. The reason I like mixing these specifically with my hands is I want to make sure that those ingredients get really incorporated that I added. The strawberries specifically in this, but if it's like cinnamon raisin, I have little chopped up raisins I want to get really incorporated. But also I want to make sure that the Greek yogurt gets fully mixed into the flour as well. Sometimes it creates little pockets, and you can kind of find little like flour pockets throughout. So I am just mixing this together, and I am already seeing that with the strawberries in here, it's going to be a little bit more wet than I want it to be. So I'm going to add probably just, I don't know, maybe like a little bit less than 1/4 of a cup of flour to it. I'm going to add a little bit more. We're going to start with that. I think it's about, I don't know, maybe like 2 tablespoons. We're going to start there. So I added that flour to it. I am just going to mix that in a little bit and see how that does. Make sure that is enough. So yeah, that little bit of flour is literally all I needed. It's nowhere near sticky on my fingers, and I can kind of show you guys there. We have a little dough. So I'm going to section this into 4 kind of even pieces here so we can make our bagels. So this is, like I said, a pretty sticky dough, and it will continue to be sticky. So what I recommend doing is actually putting parchment down on a cookie sheet. And then I use the cooking spray for basically this and eggs. Like that's pretty much it. So even with the parchment paper, I'm going to spray it down with the cooking spray because these guys will stick pretty bad if you do not. So don't think you can skip it. I thought I could skip it, and I had them stick really bad. So I highly recommend that you spray down a cookie sheet even with the parchment paper. And then what I'm going to do to keep this as stick free as possible is I'm going to just take a little bit of oil and put it on my hands. And then that way, when I reach in to grab my dough out, it doesn't really want to stick to my hands, and I can shape a little bagel. Now you can shape these however you want. I definitely think I do it the difficult way. I kind of roll them into a snake and then slip them around and make a little bagel. You are totally okay to make the ball structure and then poke the hole in the center. You are good to do no hole at all and just simply make them a like biscuit bagel. That is fine too. They taste delicious no matter how you shape them, I promise. But I'm going to get these shaped really quick into 4 bagels, and then we are going to do a quick egg wash for them. I'll show you guys that, and then we're going to pop them in the oven. So I'm just going to make a quick egg wash. I am putting an egg with a little bit of water into a cup. I'm going to mix that up, and then I'm going to brush it all over the top of these guys with a little bit of raw sugar because I like a little bit of crunch. So I've just got a simple egg wash here. I took 1 egg with just a little bit of water and mixed it together. And then I am going to just lather this all over the tops and sides of these bagels. And then I have some raw sugar there that I'm going to sprinkle over the top. You can do brown sugar, you can do regular sugar, you can skip it all together if you want, but I like the little bit of crunch that the sugar gets during baking. So I'm going to add a little bit of that on top of each of these. And then the oven is preheated. It's at the 375. So we're going to pop these in for about 25 minutes. And then we're going to check on them and see if they are done and ready to eat. All right, so we have them shaped. They are not the prettiest things, but I promise they are going to be delicious. I have them with their egg wash and a little bit of that sugar. And we're going to pop them in the oven at 375 for about 25 minutes. Okay, so I ended up cooking them for 27 minutes at 375. And I just took them out of the oven and they look delicious. So they look fantastic, and they've got a nice golden brown. And like I said, I did these for 27 minutes at 375. So I'm going to pull these off the pan to cool for about 5 minutes or so, and then I'm going to cut into one of these, put some cream cheese on it, and we are going to see if the strawberries taste delicious. Andrew and I just came back in. We put the turkeys up for the night, and it's probably been about 10 minutes, which is not long enough, I guarantee, but I don't really care. I'm going to go ahead and cut into one of these little bagels, and I want to show you guys what it looks like inside. So I just cut into this bagel, And as you can see, it looks pretty delicious. What I like to do now is I will pop this back in the toaster oven and I will just toast the top. And then I'm going to put some cream cheese on it. And we're going to try it and see if it tastes as good as it looks. I'm going to toast it real quick. Okay, so we just got out of the toaster oven. I just did a quick light bake because I'm impatient and I really want to try this. I'm going to put some cream cheese on here really quick and then I'm going to try it out. See if it's delicious. Okay, moment of truth. Yeah, these are really good. So, man, I actually really like that. I've only done the cinnamon raisin for any sort of fruit, and I really enjoy it with the strawberries. It's a good texture. There's a good strawberry flavor throughout. They're nice and chewy. But yeah, I've been making these bagels. I don't want anybody to get upset that they're called bagels and they're not boiled or cooked properly, but I've been making these bagels for probably a month or so now. I've made them multiple times and I really enjoy them. They are good for a quick snack and I like that they have all that Greek yogurt in there. It's better than just a plain one for me and they are quick. So I'm curious what you guys think. Have you made anything like this before? Are you bagel people? Is this something that you could see yourself trying? If you do try it, let me know what you think and let me know what kind of fixings you put on it. I know a lot of people love the everything seasoning. We have tried it and they are very good. Just do the egg wash and then just sprinkle everything seasoning on the top. It's definitely a good one to try. So if you give it a shot, please let me know in the comments. I'm curious what you guys think. And thank you so much for hanging out with me while we tried these out today. This was an experiment that went well. Andrew asked earlier, he goes, if they're not great, you know, what are we going to do? And I said, well, I guess I'll share it either way. And luckily they were good. So I don't have to consider it either way, but I'm excited to hear what your thoughts are. Well, I have to take one of these out for Andrew to try. He is going to love it. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. And until next time, do not forget our motto here on Little Bee Farm. Anything grows if you try.